Well, isn't this rich? It is not just the rich. Now it seems that everyone else has a case of the healthcare blues. Welcome, everybody. I'm Neil Cavuto, and talk about being stuck in the middle. No wonder so many are raising their middle finger. According to a new survey from Bankrate.com, we've all got a serious case of healthcare.bum. Just call it the middle class contagion. More than 60% of those earning between $50,000 and $75,000 seeing more money withheld from their paychecks to pay for health care. Numbers enough to make you sick, and some of our panelists puke. Charles Payne, Daga McDowell, Adam Lashinsky, and Charlie Gasparino. By the way, I do want to thank my buddy Charles Payne for filling in these past few weeks, but something has irked me a little bit, Chucky Poo, and that is this that I discovered while I was out. A little annoying.
From my old graffiti days.
What you got to do if you're going to remove the Cavuto, you just got to remove, just slap an X over it. All right, well, you want to slap an X over this healthcare thing, and it's been a disaster, and here we go. Now we're seeing the numbers.
We're seeing the numbers, and the public's seeing the number, and Nancy Pelosi and everybody else said we would like it. The more we got to know it, the answer is wrong. But it was always there because of the basic math, right? We're going to add 30 million people. We're going to take away options, not put the private sector in there. Won't have any kind of legal reforms at all. Take care of pre-existing conditions. Oh, and we're going to do it all on the backs of the youngest, poorest people in the country. I don't think so. It's not working.
Digging.
You're seeing it already with people who've bought the health insurance through the exchanges, and you will, because of the rules and the coverage mandates and whatnot, you're going to see all of these costs passed on. Higher premiums, you're going to see higher co-pays, higher deductibles for everybody in this country. There's a lot that isn't even in effect yet. The employer mandate, remember, doesn't go into effect for another year.
Here's what I'm going to try to be fair here on this, and that is that, you know, deductibles have been going up every year prior to this, right? We've all had to pay more in children more for our health care. So how much of that do you think, Mr. Gasparino, was, you know, exacerbated by this?
I think it's odd that you're trying to make me be the fair one here. You know?
No, you just say you're next.
Listen, he can't even spell fair.
Yeah, right. Adam.
Lovely. Drag her. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Listen, I think this is a train wreck. I think this is a train wreck politically in one of the worst ways. You know,
wait a minute. To my question, do you think that this would have been the case without the health care law? This has made it more.
Well, I mean, I think they doubled down. I've been saying this for the last 3 weeks. They've doubled down on a bad law, and it's going to be even worse than what's before. And I think what makes this politically extremely dangerous for liberalism in general, definitely the Democratic Party in 2014, is the fact that most of these sort of entitlements that we're used to, Social Security, they help the middle class. Middle class gets a freebie. The pain is paid for. The stuff is paid for either when the economy grows or by debt, so you extend it to future generations. What's bad about this for Democrats is that the pain comes now. The middle class is getting screwed right now, and I have a little smile on my face because I'm telling you, this is political dynamite for the Democratic Party.
You don't have the smile on your face because the middle class is getting screwed. You have a smile on your face
no, because the guys that created this thing are probably going to be thrown out.
All right, Adam, you pretty much concur with that. I guess.
Well, you know, I'll do you the courtesy of answering your question, Neil, that Charlie decided not to answer, because, yes, your question is the right one to be asking. Deductibles are going up. Employers have been trying to put more of these expenses on their employees, and they've been doing it for years.
I know that, but did it get more so with this?
Of course.
Well, the short answer to that question is we don't know. I mean, it's interesting. They asked employees in December, are you seeing more, are you paying more money out of your paychecks? You know, as an employee, employees aren't necessily the best sources on what is being taken out of their paycheck. They aren't experts on it.
Employees are not stupid. They know what they net. They see that final figure. And I know your intention was not to sound elitist there, though you did. But they're seeing the net results, and they're seeing they're paying more for this stuff, and it's coming out of their hide.
But the important point I want to make is that it wasn't coming out of their hide when they answered this survey question, because it hadn't taken effect yet. The Obamacare hadn't taken effect when they were asked this. So you ask people, are your deductibles going up? The answer is yes, but we don't know why. They don't know why. We haven't proven anything. This isn't a political point, Charlie.
This was certain as the new year kicked in, so you could see what's coming out.
Well, not only that, though, but actions have been taking place before leading up up to this. So employers have taken actions based on the Obamacare health care law, which has been in place for a couple of years. So that's sort of.
Do you think that it's this idea that the rich will end up paying for this? To Charlie Gasparino's point, it's going to be everybody paying for this.
I think that the chart we had on the screen, guys, 50 to 75,000. We used to always debate what's going to be the new rich. Be careful. That's the
right.
Well,
Whoever pays taxes.
By the way,
does Warren Buffett types, do they pay all the taxes? No, it's people that make around $100,000 and up who aren't really
well, all your union
they
compadres are going to pay indirectly.
Good.
Don't forget, 4 years from now, that Cadillac health care plan tax goes into effect. It's a 40% excise tax on very generous health care plans. So that will change the type of health insurance that a lot of Americans
And remember when the president said the old way was horrible. He's right, but this is the old way times 5 million. This is literally the same stupid system of subsidies and rationing and insurance companies being in bed with the government and having to deal with mandates.
Listen, I want to relate quickly.
It's that much larger, so it's going to be even worse.
I want to quickly relate a story. I was in the back of a cab, and I was not talking to the cab driver.
Can you repeat this story?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not. I was alone.
In the back of a cab.
And there was a man driving the cab. He had his health insurance company on speakerphone on hold. And he started randomly ranting to me. Foreign-born gentleman immigrated to the U.S. He said, I'm trying to be a law-abiding person in this country and buy my health insurance. He said, I am paying so much more than I was before now buying my insurance through these exchanges. This is going to hurt me.
Right.
It's going to hurt my family. I can't afford this. And this is Obamacare.
Guys, I'm a little more simplistic than a lot of you, not as bright. And I always look at it. In the net, it's got to be better for folks. More folks that it's got to be bad for. And right now, the jury's still out on it, right? So if more people are feeling that this is not helping them and that they're paying more for this, and whoever is picking up insurance at a discount is being dwarfed by those who are paying a lot more, this thing is the Titanic.
It is the Titanic. It is. And listen, what we're really talking about is government versus private, right? A report out that says Walmart is cheaper. The Walmart healthcare system plan is cheaper than Obamacare. You just made the reference to this guy that you met. You can meet almost anyone. It's pretty simple, and it was sold as an economic panacea. And I think that's the problem.
And the government is usually good.
That's the problem.
Here's what's the problem with this politically for the Democrats and for liberalism in general. The government is usually good at giving people a check. They're usually good at giving people free stuff. This is not that. The middle class is getting hosed here, and that's the political dynamite that this is all about. And by the way, it may work in 5 years, Adam, but the Democratic Party will be out of power for 5 years if it takes.
Adam, what do you think?
Since I'm not partisan, I don't care about that one way or the other, Charlie.
What do you mean you're
the
not
important
partisan?
The important thing is that it work. And Charles, you know that there's capitalism, private insurance companies play a huge role in Obamacare.
That wasn't capitalism, by the way.
It is working in that regard.
Adam, what we had to pass was not capitalism.
It's not working for the consumer,
but
though.
Charles said this is all about the government.
Because
private insurance companies are participating.
Okay, we got 5 years to Charlie's math that this has got to work, and maybe the benefits come in. Wait a minute. 5 years. By that time, regardless of what happens to Democrats, does it take that long, really, Adam, you think, for this to level out and look like it's worthwhile? Because that's a very expensive roll of the dice right there.
If after 5 years, many, many, many more Americans have health insurance, then it will have been worth all the trouble. Yes, Neil.
All right. Even though many, many more Americans will be paying substantially more for the coverage they've got?
Screwed. I mean,
maybe.
No, Adam, you can't screw the middle class on a.
You're asking Americans to pay more for less, and we have yet to feel the impact of health care.
Most Americans to pay more for more.
Unfortunately, you're
not going to get more.
See, unfortunately, for the Democrats, there's an honesty here with Obamacare. The basic thing is premised on screwing the middle class to pay for the uninsured. That's what it's premised on, and that is the problem politically for the Democrats.
And some people, are not going
to work. No, they're running on the platform almost across the board. This time is that it's all about fairness and it's time for the lower classes to get their share.
Charles, people can read their paycheck. They can read their statement.
I mean,
the people
all
who
we're
are
doing is
supposed to
dividing the
pay
country
aren't
more.
signing up for it. The young people, the White House has admitted, are not signing up in the numbers that they need them to. So this thing's going to fall.
Why don't you? You're dragging it down for the rest of us.
Early days, Dagan. It's early days.
Got 5 years to go.
5 years to go. Dagan would just kick in here a little bit, so I can rest assured. No. All right, well, call it another IRS mess. The agency in charge of collecting your dollars, asking for more of your dollars, mainly to help enforce this health care law. Forbes gang is going to be debating that at the top of the hour. But up next, 50 years after this president started spending money to fight poverty, this president isn't ready to stop. But how can we keep spending when we're long past spent?